are true football fans, so yes, I share being for discussions on games about so weekend, and one of the toughest, one of the biggest fixtures ever weekend. I mean, across the top 5 leagues ever Europe, the about so ever North London, Yankopon Adma Saturday. On Saturday, lunchtime kickoff, Ghana time at 12:30 p.m. Ever Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, North London, and a Spurs host to Manchester United in a repeat of last season's Europa League final. United lose 1-0 to Spurs Bilbao in the final of the Europa League. But we only first meeting since then, and it's very, very interesting. Spurs everybody into this game with a win in the Champions League against Copenhagen, and then Man United a ball draw last weekend were Forest. And then be a Premier League match week 11 on Saturday afternoon, lunchtime kickoff. Spurs versus Manchester United. But answer no. Yes, so when you subscribe to channel now, watch it. So for tap or subscribe button also never can be sharing, and then reach me hit on notification bell no. Now when you notification anytime they post to content I had you discussing football stories. I mean both local and international. I mean top 5 leagues, no Champions League, any other competitions. Now everything football you discuss our channel is one too. But so we enjoy football analysis. Now we are part. In fact, in the last kind very soon you be back closer. Now for any more but for now you're trying to build it from this angle. Give me about so on Saturday afternoon. Kofi Akwaba say anyway.
Oh senior major, so as usual Radia Domnia here ain't no money be here.
Oh good. Young Charles here North London. Spurs host to Manchester United. United are going to this game after announcement about Brian Mbeumo a Premier League player of the month of October, and Ruben Amorim a Premier League manager of the month of October. So we look at the 2 big awards for Premier League for the month of October. I'm going to buy into this game for Spurs. I mean, I'm going to win from the Champions League nearby. Quick comments on awards on that game also.
Well, I think awards need also because so United performance under the period obvious. United were very impressive. You beat me accounting about 4 games, right?
3 Premier League games.
Yes. So yes, 3 Premier League games. And if you look at the 3 Premier League games now, I mean, in all the games, United were impressive, very, very impressive. And as our games here, so her top performance in terms of players ever field no swa. When you sure say we counted 3 or let's say 2 players wabra umo Mbeumo under the period. If you want to select 2 best United players, Mbeumo will be in there, and it is not surprising say we emerge as the player of the month. Same thing applies to the manager. I mean, who share the last 3-4 games are, I mean, who say United are improving and they are playing so well. Even when they lost to Forest last weekend, the performance generally was not that bad. And I think say you can clearly understand why Amorim maybe winning manager of the month, and also United player in Mbeumo maybe winning player of the month. I think say very positive, something that United beat me up building on to push forward. And say who be facing United, and I say I mean around this period United in Koma, you can cite a lot of positives, and one of those positives the Abbey say Amorim a winning coach of the month or manager of the month, and Mbeumo were winning player of the month. Very positive for Manchester United, and I believe they need to take advantage of this to turn the whole season around.
To what extent now will be affect your performance Saturday and that Premier League opener North London.
So like I said, who say positive session say ba eya the ni say emawunya that positive energy no and the confidence to push forward. Enti yemfa ni say United are in the last 2 seasons or so with the yemfa Amorim kraba ye. No man said ko ye. I mean, he's played a lot of Premier League matches. No man said that until the last 3-4 games. Not the conversation around the manager any Manchester United no nenye papa, right? At some point there were even reports say Setwaso United beat me in a party ways, and the result say na the positive way to the extent say manager ni player e win such awards. I mean Emma confidence in the costo and Emma the belief say enoma betimi aye better no echo so high, and I think say enone how e be affect United team no in general, any the individuals involved. I mean when you are winning, your confidence was so, and a sample krana it put some level of fear in your opponent. Say this is somebody where we need player of the month, this is somebody where we need manager of the month, and this is a side or mu player or mu manager and we need such awards. It tells you say they have something you cannot just and decide to be running over them just like that. So psychologically it puts fears in opponents because you are known to be winning. And I think that's how for the United faithfuls the whole conversation. Winning is good and winning awards and some more confidence ecostro into moving into the subsequent games. No, United can enter any of those games, including near Airbasu tomorrow at 12:30 against Spurs. No, say confidence was so they have the belief they can beat anybody, and Basa is very good for the team in general. And that's how come I think say awards no on the game tomorrow. It is good for Manchester United.
Spurs after defeat to Chelsea last weekend in the Premier League no more recovered very well in the Champions League against Copenhagen and winning by 4-0. I mean with that solo goal Van de Ven Jibo from Spurs for side of the pitch Errani called the opposite side. I mean they seem to have recovered from that defeat to Chelsea, and I mean of course they're against Manchester United and recent times Spurs and Ben Washano. Meaning how you see this particular one and how you feel like given how it feels again this behind it.
Oh, you see, say we had this particular fixture. You can even forget about the Champions League game as Spurs against Copenhagen because it's obvious the Copenhagen side are strong. Losing to Chelsea in the Premier League and winning in that manner against Copenhagen is good because I mean winning is always good, but sometimes you look at the opposition any the sort of tester or the team in question, and in this case I don't think the Copenhagen side now that competitive, no strong enough now Spurs the needed test, and it was easy for them. But see Spurs ni United game tomorrow can the Spurs won and even the win against Copenhagen because last season you Spurs generally now good. The reason why even after winning the Europa League party ways with Ange Postecoglou, but last season United and Spurs encounters in all competitions we bet me account about 4 games. One in the EFL Cup quarter-final, Spurs winning I think 4-3 against Manchester United. Also in the Europa League final, Spurs United by a goal to nil. And in the Premier League, both home and away, Spurs winning. And that bragging right, no, especially if you want to look at the conversation from last season, now both teams no man koye, but in the end, as a Spurs the better of omumienu encounters no. It is psychologically that is what Spurs ewo, and say so the two teams ni nyina nso at two table no so now we weigh oma ho eden a I can say that so this season compared to last season Spurs are improving. Same thing applies to Manchester United. At least in the last 3-4 games we've seen how United is playing. So I say even against the big teams they are able to get results any idea. So at some point now United fans may be disappointed because the 3 points against Nottingham Forest, but Forest was also chasing for wins because now almost struggle, especially now a year Sunday in the first home game and the dynamics of the game no and a man could say United could not pick all the 3 points, but generally in the last 3-4 games United is doing so well, right? And as Spurs and so I mean it's obvious Thomas Frank side to talk last season when Postecoglou was in charge or my improving and say you know you see them in the top 4, top 3, top 5, top 6 any other. They are competitive around the first 5-6 teams and all of that, so and they are playing well. Yes, last weekend against Chelsea surprisingly Omulusuye, and I'm saying surprisingly because I thought that this season Omahu Odene was Tinka against a struggling Chelsea side. Omunye consistent no ebi anka Spurs beat me take advantage of that to pick the 3 maximum points, but again they lost. But so the sad defeat to Chelsea ni generally Oma are very competitive, and the fact that last season they had the wins against Manchester United in all competitions no tells you say United won't have it easy, but United also comes into the game as the side they have the pedigree or may achievers in the Premier League. On any day, oh boy, against Manchester United, it doesn't matter the form of United, they can come up and play very good football on any day. And also the fact that United as 38 results so well no, and my game no very very tight, but I think psychologically because of last season wins now Spurs over Manchester United, and the fact that improving the last Premier League game at home against Chelsea they lost in front of the fans at the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. They can't afford to lose back to back like that. Ebema, the attitude generally moving into this game from the Spurs side, you know, different crowd, and I'm expecting a very determined side on the person changing the narrative at home. The game is very tight, and if at the end of the game can a draw just like last weekend the witness here between Forest and Manchester United but I think that psychologically you may want to give Spurs that chance because of wins now in recent times over Manchester United.
All right, Kofi. Score prediction be a person with Chatua. Who's ready to my draw?
Yes, so
scoring and as a goalless.
Let's say 1-1 draw be 2-2 be or something like that. I don't see goalless draw. Draw now make one no. I see a scoring draw. A bit my 2-2, a bit my 1-1. But say Obianche be there. This is not the type of gamer. Can a bit me akoba say at the end of the 90 minutes plus time at the done. Yenya goal. No, I don't see this game as one of those games Bema football fans, that kind of situation where you don't have a goal to celebrate. And most likely United will celebrate a goal same as Spurs, because look at the United attack. I mean Omasha here she goes no on Imbomo, Kunya and all those guys. I think the only problem is Sheshko, but maybe with time on also he will get there. How aggressive he will be on the pitch and how determined I'll be on the field and all of that. So United attack as against Spurs attack on Kudus, any Richarlison, Mone, Brennan Johnson maybe from the bench or so dangerous and all of that. But just before I forget, maybe one thing that everything against Spurs last weekend after the Chelsea game and you witness even right after the Champions League win against Copenhagen. Spence any manager in Komono, it was still in the system, and then Kofodi and Komo and all of that. At some point the manager even responded, say, as a we want to blow the issue out of proportion, but a lot of people believe, say, in a team, so as say who say no money, say after games manager try to shake hands with players say snobbing any idea, then there is something wrong somewhere near there. And maybe that situation, if not handled very well, it be an against Spurs. But whatever be the case, I see a scoring draw.
All right, so Kofi, me that's it. All right, we have Kofi Labi in a take on the upcoming game. Yeah, sharing on Saturday afternoon. North London, between Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester United. Minimum so prediction for this game. For the comment section, minimum share video, but I'm not really subscribe.